In this video we are going to review product rule and quotient rule to simplify expressions with variables. Let's see some examples. Now look at number 7. We have 60 times x to the power 4 times y to the power 7 in a square root. Now for the numbers there is no difference. So this means for 60 I'm going to prime factorize it, and then if I find a perfect square inside, I'm going to take it away from the square root. So for the variables we should have even powers to cancel with the square root, like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 and so on. And if we have even powers for variables, when we cancel the square root, we divide the power by 2. So cancelling square root means divide power by 2. So let's look at number 7 again. Now I'm going to write numbers and variables in separate square roots according to the product property. So square root of 60 x to the power 4 times y to the power 7 will be equal to square root of 60 times square root of x to the power 4 times square root of y to the power 7. Now here I'm going to prime factorize 60 and I'm going to rewrite the expression y to the power 7 because the power here is not even. So factorizing 60 we get 2 squared times 3 times 5, so it will be square root of 2 squared times square root of 3 times square root of 5, and for x to the power 4 in square root we are going to divide the power by 2, so we have x squared, and for y to the power 7 in square root, we are going to rewrite the expression as square root of y to the power 6 times y. Now this means we can write y to the power 7 as y to the power 6 times y, because here for y the power is 1, and when we multiply numbers or expressions with powers, we actually add the powers to get the simplified form. So this means 6 plus 1 is 7. So I can write as y to the power 6 times y. I wrote like this because I want to simplify y to the power 6 part of the expression. So let's go on. Square root of 2 squared, here we have cancellation, so we have 2 here. So for root 3 and root 5 we can't do anything, so we will multiply them, so it will be 3 times 5, 15, times we have this x squared, it's already simplified, and for y to the power 6, if we consider them to be square root of y to the power 6 times square root of y, then we can cancel square root and power by dividing by 2, so we are going to get y to the power 3, because 6 over 2 is 3, and, well, we have the square root of y alone. So let's wrap this up. We have 2, we have x squared, we have y cubed, so we are going to write like this. It will be 2x squared y cubed, and in square root it will be 15 times y, so it will be 15y. So this is how we simplify this expression. At the end we just multiplied 2x squared and y cubed, we wrote them in product, and then we wrote square root expressions in a single square root as a product. Now let's look at number 8. So first let's factorize 88. Dividing by 2 we'll get 44, dividing by 2 we'll get 22, dividing by 2 we'll get 11, and dividing by 11 we get 1. So here we have 2 squared, and well, these are single ones. So I'm going to write this expression as square root of 2 squared times square root of 2 times square root of 11, and then I'm going to write square root of m squared times square root of m. Then I'm going to write square root of p squared and square root of r to the power 4 times square root of r. Now here, this part is the square root of m cubed, and this part is the square root of, square root of r to the power 5. Now let's do the simplifications. Here square and square root cancels out. Here square and square root cancels out. Here again square and square root cancels out. And here square and square root cancels out, but actually fourth power, so we have as a power of 2 here. So let's write what we have. Here it will be 2. Now for this part there is nothing to do, so it will be 2 times 11, which is square root of 22, times here, this is important, since we don't know what m is, a negative number or a positive number, we write absolute value of m, we want it to be positive, and here we have square root of m. The same rule applies here. P squared in a square root will be absolute value of p, and I have this r to the power 2, which is r squared, times square root of r. So if we show like this, we have all these simplifications. Now if we wrap it up, we have here 2 times absolute value of m times absolute value of p times r squared. So let's write these down. 2 absolute value, we can write like this actually, and r squared, and then we have the square roots. 22 in a square root, m in a square root, and r in a square root. So it will be times the square root of 22 m r. So this is what we have as simplified form. Let's look at number 9. In number 9 we are going to prime factorize 99, and then we are going to write b to the power 5 as b to the power 4 times b, and then simplify. Let's start. Now 99 will be square root of 3 squared times square root of 11 times square root of a times square root of b to the power 4 times square root of b times square root of c squared. Now notice that this part is square root of 99, and this part is the square root of b to the power 5. So let's simplify. 2 here, square and square root simplifies, cancels out, and here we divide 4 by 2, so we will get 2 here, and then here square and square root simplifies. So let's wrap it up. We have 3 square root 11 times square root of a times, here we will have b squared times square root of b times, now since this is c squared and we simplified with the square root, we will have the absolute value of c. This is very important, you shouldn't forget that. And let's simplify what we have here. Now we are going to write in product of 3 and b squared, so it will be 3b squared, and in the square root we will have 11ab times the absolute value of c. So this is how we simplify this square root expression. Now is your turn. Simplify these expressions and show me.